Good morning, planters. It is good to see you. I'm excited about being here. I have loved Green Lanterns since I was 7 years old. I am way past that, and looking out and seeing all these lanterns, like, my heart is just not big enough. My heart is just not big enough. And thank you, Earl, for that introduction. What I got from winning the World Dungeons and Dragons tournament was singleness. So, because apparently on eHarmony, that is not what you should put out front. I get a lot of frowny faces on my... I'm working on it, I'm working on it. Before we get started, I want to thank the committee. You have to understand this takes a lot of work to do. I've been doing RAPs a while, and they have done a phenomenal job. So when you see someone on the committee, when you see the co-chairs, hug them. They are exhausted. So just love them. I also want to thank the staff that have brought you guys here. I know you've had an early morning, you've had a long drive, you have not had enough coffee, and I just want to thank you for bringing people here. To the RAs, CAs, pirates, ninjas, whatever you go by at your school, make sure you love them. Make sure you know, because they love you. I just want to start with that. If anybody's on Twitter, you can back channel this conversation. Just post something with the hashtag GLRap. And then I'll answer questions, I'll contact you through Twitter if you're like, that was a horrible point. Oh yes, hashtag Muskies love you. Yes, got it, I see that. And hug the guy from Pepperdine, because he's freaking out right now. It's like this cheer camp, drug rehab? Like, what is going on? They just put me, I'm in my car, like I don't know. So just embrace it. So, and Oxy as well, like just love them. I want to start with, sometimes with keynotes, you're like, oh, you're all fancy, and da-da-da. I'm not fancy. I've made some really horrible mistakes as an RD. I've been an RD about 8 years, and here's one of my worst mistakes. I'm in charge of a living learning community, and what we do is we do something insane where we bring all the students during the summer, and we tell them who their roommates are then, so they can meet them in July, and they can get to know each other. And we do all our assignments by hand. Like, we don't do like magical punch cards that are glorious. We're like, it's like the biggest eHarmony, like, we think you should all live together. They like surfing, or, you know, then we put like, I want someone nice and kind. And I'm like, well, no one ever puts like, first thing I do in the morning is eat a baby. Like, no one ever puts like, you gotta like, you know, or they'll say, you know, you can tell their mom filled it out. Like, who cleans every day? It's like a Mary Poppins song, right? Ain't gonna happen. So I was in a rush. I had 4 gentlemen left. I just put them together. Done. I want to be very clear. I did not look at the cards. I did not look at them. I was in a rush. Clock was ticking. Boss was yelling. I had to get it done. I made a mistake. They come. We have a good time, we do some training, we do strengths quest, any strengths quest nerds out there? If you don't know what that is, you should, we'll get to that later. And at about 3 in the afternoon, my boss takes me by my throat and puts me in a room and says, you have to go handle the situation. What's the situation? Cohort in our department situation is like right now, so the RAs call me, Ryan, we have a situation, like I have to get dressed. Like that's our cohort. So I go there and I see this forlorn, broken student. He's about 6'4", big guy, has a geeky t-shirt that I completely understand. And I knew the look on his face. I knew the look on his face. The look on his face was what I looked like at 17 in high school being pushed into lockers. The look was something of despair of, you get to repeat high school again. And I asked the parents, what is the problem? How can I help? They said, the 3 students you put them with told them last night they don't want him to live with them. They don't want him as a roommate, and we don't know if we belong here. And I was sad to say I was the only one who could hear my own heart break. Because I did this. This was my fault. all I had to do was take 30 seconds and look at 4 cards and be like, Houston, we have a problem. And I failed. Because that student was like, no one's picking me. I'm being picked last. Luckily, I found someone had left the program, and I read their cards, and it worked. But I'm telling you this, that I could have ruined a student's housing experience, because college is the first place you go where no one loves you. College is the first place you go where no one loves you. And I was about to forward that on. But later on at my school, I do a Geek Week, and so I do a week of all geeky programs, and I was giving away Comic-Con tickets. I know, right? You transfer in, baby. So, I need RAs. So, he said to me, we had all these prizes, all these nerderific things, and he said, I just don't want to win the Comic-Con tickets. I'm like, what? Dang, you don't want to win the Comic-Con tickets, like those are our people, man. Like, it's the mothership. Like we have, and he's like, I just can't handle crowds. I can't do it. I just can't. Like, I'm like, I gotta rig this raffle so he doesn't win these. So all the students gather around, we're pulling tickets, and Dane went to everything. The more events you went to, the more tickets you got. He went to everything, and no, it was somebody else. And I handed, and people were like, this is the fix, so I handed off the box to one of my non-geek RAs, and like, pull the Comic-Con tickets, and sure enough, Dane Likens wins the tickets. And he jumped around as if he was on fire, because he was. And he hugged me, and he hugged me where I thought I like broke a rib. Have you ever experienced that? Like, you weren't ready, and you kind of on the side, and they're like, I'm like, that's my spleen. And so I was like, how do I explain that to my boss? I got hugged to death. So later on, I went to Comic-Con, and lo and behold, I see Dane Likens walking down San Diego with 4 students following him. And I thought they were students. But when I got to know them, they were strangers he had just met there, and he was showing them the town. And he walked around like a prince. And I thought, because Dane needed to be chosen, he needed to be picked. Because that is the desire of every heart here. Now, why Green Lantern, alien, gets shipped off, his whole race dies. He didn't really do anything to get his powers. He didn't like work out, or, he didn't really focus. He was just like, he just, Batman, his parents died. Superman, his parents died, and everybody died. Batman, his parents died. I'm not making less of it, by the way, they're fictional, so don't get all like, why are you making fun of Batman? You're an insensitive jerk. Fictional. Oh, and I beat Arkham City, by the way, so everyone just relax. He was born out of tragedy. He wanted vengeance. He wanted justice. The Flash, that was an accident. He mixed 2 chemicals together, lightning hit, he got powers. I'm not impressed. And Wonder Woman, heritage. She's just heritage, born into it. She was the champion. Amazons, they kick butt. It's just what they do. Every superhero, it's usually by accident. It's usually by luck. But Green Lanterns are chosen. The ring chooses them. The ring says, you have the ability to overcome great fear. And the ring chooses you. Hal Jordan did nothing. Sinestro did nothing. All the other heroes, Kyle Rayner, they did nothing to earn it. They were chosen. And you were chosen. Do you remember getting your letter, your email, however your school does it, like the holy torch that is put in front of your room, that told you you were selected to be an RA? Do you remember? Do you remember the night before? Your friends are like, you gotta calm down. You are just tripping out your Facebooks like, I can't take it. How does he know this? My ritual, when we put out letters, I leave the school. Like, I throw those letters like a grenade behind me and just like run to my car. I can't deal with it. I can't, like, I like the cheering, but all the crying, all so bitter and angry. But, do you remember what it was like? Remember the first person you told? Who was the first person? Maybe your parents? Because your mom was happier than you were. So they're like, we don't have to write that check anymore. Such things. Some of you, and I'm not don't like clap for this one, don't be like, oh yeah, okay. Some of you lost friendships over it, like because you got picked and they didn't. That was over. Anyway, you got unfriended on Facebook and and of course, then they live on your floor, totally awkward. We all got picked. You all got chosen. You're here for a reason. Don't forget that. We're going to talk about that. Endurance is not being picked at all. I think the most painful 2 words you can say to someone is not you. Not you. And as RAs, that never comes out of your mouth. It never comes out of your body language. It never comes out, ever. Because we are the ones who've been chosen, and you are to choose them all. Because there's nothing, and if we went around, it's not going to be like in your breakout session or your round table, of tell us the time you were hit a horrible breakup. Maybe a parent who didn't care about us enough. I remember this, and don't blog this, by the way. In 3rd grade, remember 3rd grade? That was like a million years ago, 3rd grade. It was my birthday, and he made thirds out there. I think Larry made thirds. Woo! We're besties. And, I remember my 3rd grade teacher, because I didn't bring snacks, I didn't really come from a lower class family. I didn't bring snacks. She didn't sing happy birthday to me in the class. And you think like, dude, get over it. You're like 38. Move on. I've moved on, right? You know. But I remember crying outside. And my friend said, why are you crying? And they're like, it's my birthday. It's my birthday. And they're like, it's your birthday. You know, 3rd graders were like, this is injustice. Like, we have to mobilize. Like, we have to act our call. Like, they were just out together. And I was like, she will pay. So I went home forlorn. My mom calls and they're like, Chrissy wants you to come over. And I was like, ooh, I like Chrissy. So I was in 3rd grade, I know, and then I went over there and they'd thrown me a surprise party. And it was better than any song that could have sung. But redeeming that not you, that's what you're about. Because college is the first place you go where no one loves you. And then no one on your floor should ever hear those words anymore. I'm getting in my car and driving away soon. We go to war over you. We fight for you. We will say, this person's in, no, not that person, they gave me a dirty look. Once, you know, and they're like, you can help. I don't know what's up. We fight, we cajole, we make arrangements. I will take over 2 weeks of your duty if I can have this person on my staff. Like, what are we talking? Are we talking Halloween? Or are we talking like Arbor Day? Because Arbor Day does not really go off the hook here on campus. Halloween, you know. And you get 2 slaps. No, you don't get 2 slaps. It's from How I Met Your Mother. If you're not watching that, thank you. If some of you are like, I don't understand, you need to fix your priorities and watch that. And you get that. But you were chosen, you were picked. Don't forget that. Because I know you doubt yourself. Some of you have really weird roommate conflicts where you're like, that's kind of weird. And like, you're like, I don't think I'm supposed to be doing this job. You are. But what are you supposed to do? What is your role? Be like M&M's to like lead them out of your I know it. I've experienced it. And there's the shy, the introverted. There's also the like too cool for school. I'm an athlete. I do this. Or I'm involved in this club. And, you know, whatever. He hates athletes. I don't hate athletes. But there's 3 types of RAs sitting here today. There's 3. You fit in one of these, most likely. There's some of you who are like, you could have a piece of toilet paper and a silver crayon. Go in your hall, raise it up, and you will have a program of 25 people. There's like crayon time, and they all just come out, and they love you, and hugs, and it's this fantastic program. Some of you sitting here are like, I don't know if this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I'm not really sure. Some people are mean, or you've had some really heavy stuff, or some of you are like, I didn't even know I applied to be an RA. They just, there was like a blow dart in my neck, and I was filling out room inventory forms. I'm not really, what am I doing here? Some of you got the blow dart in your neck yesterday, and here you are. But you're here to reach the invisible. And you reach a certain type. I can reach peaks. I can just smell them. I can just sense the need for them to be accepted, and then I just draw them in. That's my group that I can pull in, are the nerds. I love these nerds. Love them. Just love them. You're all petty. I have had this. I've had like, this roommate came to me. She's like, my roommate is poisoning us. And she didn't like, if you ever have someone like blow past the front desk, or like, she just beelined into my office. I was like, what? She's poisoning us. She's poisoning us, and what are you going to do about it? I was like, I'm going to put down my pen. I said, what's going on? What poisoning? I'm all here. I'm all here. Hold my calls. I'm here. Like, she doesn't wring out her sponge when she does the dishes. And that's filled with bacteria. She's trying to kill us. And I was like, you ever had this like, don't laugh, like, that's something. That's something. Have you talked to her about this? I have. She does not think it's a big deal. What are you going to do about it? Okay. All right. Like, they don't give RVs a handbook on this stuff. You guys think like they just go, oh, no sponges. No, there's nothing. There's nothing. Your RV wings it 80% of the time. They're like, oh yeah, I totally handle it. They're calling me, I'm calling Earl. What do I do? So I just went in there and like, okay, and like they got into it, and I thought it was going to be, you ever found the conflict that's like really not about the sponges, like it's about a significant other, or it's about whatever, it's something else, like beyond the sponges. It was not beyond the sponges. There was no, like I tried to go like Dr. Phil on that and be like, tell me how you really feel. So I just said to him, I go, okay, you get to use blue sponges, you have to use green sponges. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's totally great. Okay, great, right, well, thanks, Ryan, thanks for coming by. And I'm like, really? Like, that was the hardship? A trip to Costco was the solution here? Like, I swear, I was like, hey, how you doing on sponges? Oh, we're good, we have this thing now. I'm like, great. I got my master's for this. Like, what? And you all deal with weird stuff too, but we bring peace. We have the peacemakers. And I know it's hard. And I know they don't say thank you. They're like, oh, thanks, Hug Harbor. No, they're like, you might get a wave. You might get a wave. Is this like the Raised by Wolves floor? Like, we're like, gee, why are you so angry? Like, what happened? You know, I know it's hard. It's like 12 o'clock, it's Saturday night, and they're just like, oh my gosh. You are there to defend your floor. And you're going to develop RA powers, where you're going to see danger even if you're out there. You're going to be like, that's a problem. She has alcohol poisoning. Your friends are like, what are you talking about? We're in Vegas. That's like 30%. there to do? I'm going to need 10 minutes. And you are there to embrace diversity. I embrace diversity at your age. I have a degree in special education. Primarily it's deaf and hard of hearing. And this is my roommate. I have a roommate, he's deaf. He's one of my dearest friends. I've known him 16 years. He loves living in the resident halls as a deaf man because it's always quiet. I feel bad. He feels bad for me. Like we'll be watching Law and Order, and I'll hear something. I'll hear shenanigans down the hall, and I'll just like walk out. And he's like, now he's like, you're like Batman. Like he just, there's danger. He just cracks up. He thinks it's like the funniest thing. He does know when skateboarders go by. He's like, you know, he's on the alert. It's too late. They've skated by, and I, you know, hunt them down. But here's something you should know about deaf people. And deaf people can't hear you. And I know everyone's like, that. Is that a stereotype? You learned about this. Not a stereotype. He knows. I've had a talk with him, and like we'll be at malls, and he'll be like, someone will say hello to him, and he won't say hi back. And I'm like, he's like, I wonder how many people think I'm rude just because I don't say hi back. And I'm like, he's like, eh. But he's never heard a Nickelback song. I made a mistake. And sometimes we get scared about with diversity. We're like, ooh, diversity. We get kind of scared because we don't want to make mistakes. And I'm giving you permission to make loving, glorious, authentic mistakes when it comes to working with other cultures. I don't have deaf parents. I don't have anyone in my family who's deaf. I just have an affinity for sign language. And I was interpreting in my church. I got to tell the story like at Mach 2. Sorry, Steve. And I was interpreting communion at my church, and communion is really important. And I learned religious science from a Catholic book, and I didn't say like this is a Catholic book. It's just religious science. So I learned communion is this. It's like a wafer and a cross. That's how I learned it. I was interpreting at a Protestant church, and our communion shtick kind of went like this. Now's the time for communion. The communion tray is going around. Jesus handed out communion in the Last Supper. If you're a believer, take the communion. Well, all the deaf people at my church started laughing. And the interpreter I live has to leave because she's crying hysterically, like just weeping, like she just saw the Notebook, just crying. And I'm like, what's going on? Well, one of the deaf people had thankfully signed to me the communion sign, and then P-O-T. And I thought, what, you make soup in? No. They thought I was signing marijuana. So the marijuana train is going around. If you're a believer, please take the marijuana. Jesus handed out marijuana. I know some of you are like, should we do that? Yes, it was 20 years ago. People have gotten out of prison for murder less than that, so I'm good. But that story bridged the gap with my deaf friends that nothing else could have. And with the local community, because they're like, oh, you gotta hear this story. Like, story around. Make glorious, authentic mistakes. The websites I found for that is zenhabits.net. Finally, I got a code right there. And it's made by Leo Babtua, that's my buddy. I met him at the World Domination Summit. I'm not making that up, you can look that up. And it's the #1 blog, it's like 4 million people a day look at it. So all 10 people look at mine. Lanterns have another life. You have to have another life, nerds. You have to. And it has to be separate from your college. It has to be separate from your friends. Just 1 hour a week where something is completely yours. Volunteering, helping kids read, whatever it is. It can be solely for you. And in RDs, same thing. Mine's CrossFit. I'm a CrossFit athlete. Anybody do CrossFit? So it's something where you work out so much, you throw up, and then you go the next day. It's like a cult. And it's just, you can look it up. It's just, they punish me every day, and I love it. Now, of all the lanterns, I identify with a red lantern. I'm more the vengeance guy, like, oh, that student get bullied? I gotta handle this. You know, everyone's like, calm down. Some of you are more about hope. Some of you are more about will. That's green. Some of you are more about compassion. That's indigo. Know yourself. Take this time. You are building the buffet you will eat off the rest of your life in college. Lanterns got your back. Here's how you shipwreck your college life, your RA life. If you sacrifice your job on the altar of being liked, it's over. If you sacrifice your job on the altar of being liked, if you want students to like you more than you want them to be safe, you'll ruin it. Your RAs will hate you. It's just bad. Lanterns always have your back. You always are defending your floor. Today is the day. I want your light to shine. I want you to make a positive impact on your college. When the cyborg army takes us over, they will still need RAs to run the colleges. I guarantee it. We will still need you with our cybernetic implants. Colleges have morphed over hundreds of years, not you. You are the lanterns. We will always need you. Thank you very much.